right, so I've legitimately had it. This guy, it's greatness, all of this, it just doesn't matter to some people. So I'm going to talk a little bit about two topics. The first one is going to be in this video. The second one you'll find in another video. But we're going to talk about Russell Westbrook and why his greatness simply is not debatable. It's also not very appreciated by the majority of basketball fans. And so I'm going to break down why NBA fans essentially don't think that he belongs in the top 75 and why that's absolutely ludicrous. So let's get into it. Before we do, be sure to subscribe, comment, and like if you like the video. I understand this is unpopular and it really shouldn't be, but I understand it is. So I'm going to start off with the pure idea that Russell Westbrook doesn't belong in the top 75 of all time NBA players is absolutely ludicrous. It's more ludicrous because there are players like Damian Lillard who are arguably top 300 and they made the top 75 due to recency bias. Recency bias is also hurting Russell Westbrook, and here's why. In case you didn't know, he has more total assists than 65 others on this 75 player list. He has more total steals all time than 58 others on this all-time 75 player list, and his field goal percentage is higher than 11 others on this list. And I'm not going to stop there. This guy is 12th all-time in assists, 25th all-time in total steals, 27th all-time in free throws, 33rd in total points, 37 in field goals made, 79th in minutes played, 92nd in total rebounds, and 100th, believe it or not, in total three-pointers made. It's not bad for a 6'3" point guard that is considered trash and essentially is just a guy that is known for bricking and padding his stats. So much so we've called him stat padder West Brick. Now, here's the funny thing. In case you're wondering, the guys that he has a better field goal percentage than, there's a lot of guys on here, but some big names: Elgin Baylor, Bob Cousy, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, Damian Lillard, and of course George Mikan. Now, I understand times have changed, things were a little bit different back in the day, but for a guy that simply is just called Westbrick, for a guy that's never given credit for what he's done, I do find it funny how one guy in Damian Lillard is considered this great when in reality he has just as many rings as Russell Westbrook. And as a matter of fact, if that's the big argument is that he doesn't win games, then why do we give Allen Iverson so much credit? Here's player A versus player B. Ready for this? Player A, 1,000 games played, 22.9 points per game, 8.5 assists per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, 1.7 steals per game, 4.1 turnovers per game, 43.7 field goal percentage, and a 30.5 three-point percentage, including an MVP, and has never won a ring. Player B, 914 games, 26.7 points per game, 6.2 assists per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, 2.2 steals per game, 3.6 turnovers per game, 42.5 field goal percentage, and 31.3 three-point percentage. Player A, of course, is Russell Westbrook, and player B is Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson's a Hall of Famer, and so is Westbrook. But the difference here, there's really not one, except for the fact that Russell Westbrook is a better overall player than Allen Iverson, and it's not relatively close. And as funny as it sounds, Allen Iverson's the better pure scorer, but his shot percentage isn't anywhere near as good as Russell Westbrook, almost the entire point percentage lower than Russell Westbrook. So here's how it goes. Russell Westbrook has been unfairly treated. He's been unfairly labeled as this stat padder. He's been unfairly talked about as this guy that just bricks shots. Look, everybody bricks shots. And to be honest with you, I think he is, of course, he could be a lot better. And I do think if he had his percentage up to the 47, 48 from the field and, you know, maybe a 34 to 35% three-point shooter, we'd be talking about one of the greatest to ever play the game. But he's definitely belonging and deserving of this 75 list without a doubt. There is no doubt in my mind. And I understand many will say, well, you're biased because you're a big fan of his. But understand the reason I became a big fan of his was because of the hate. I loved watching this guy play, but let's be honest here. I'm a Laker fan, and I never once thought, yeah, I'll be a Thunder fan. I'll root for Russell Westbrook. I really liked him coming out. I liked his athleticism, but he did have a hand in beating my Kansas Jayhawks in the postseason. And so I'll say this right now: Russell Westbrook had no reason to become as good as he did. He normalized the triple double. I believe he has 4 of the 5 seasons where a player has averaged a triple double in a year. He's done an incredible job, and honestly, he just doesn't get enough respect. And the fact that he's literally in the top 100 in just about every statistical aspect, except for really blocks, because he only has 0.3 per game. And let's be honest here, a 6'3" point guard normally doesn't get more than 0.3 per game. That's just the way it is. So instead of you coming out and saying this guy isn't deserving, he's trash, whatever that, just remember that what this guy has done has been really impressive and has almost been unprecedented. The only one that you can compare him to is Oscar Robertson, who is the first one to ever average a triple-double in a season. Russell Westbrook has normalized the triple-double. And now, of course, the quickest way to deflect all of the greatness that he's done, it's to basically say no rings and to basically say stat patter and West brick. Well, I remember a guy by the name of Matthew Stafford, who you guys know I talk about a lot on this pod. Well, not on this pod, but a lot on this channel. And you guys know it was the same deal. Matthew Stafford didn't win a ring. Matthew Stafford's a stat patter. Matthew Stafford this, Matthew Stafford that, whatever. And then the interceptions, just like the turnovers with Westbrook. No one ever talks about the turnovers for another player the way they do about Westbrook. And he doesn't even average that much for his career. For a guy that averages almost 9 assists per game for his career, to have only 4.1 turnovers is not all that bad. Furthermore, you talk about a guy like James Harden, the sharpshooter, right? Well, he's barely got a field goal percentage, barely a little bit. I think it's a 0.6% higher percentage than Russell Westbrook. So I just think really what has happened is that the narratives are this: Allen Iverson is well liked, and that is, obviously very well known. People like him, the answer, the question, whatever you want to call him. People like him. People like how he stepped over, Ty Lue, in the NBA Finals. People like him, and I have nothing against Allen Iverson. But when you have a guy that has never won a title and is constantly revered as this legend, and this guy that is just unbelievable, when in reality he was a pure scorer that didn't shoot as well as Russell Westbrook did from the field, didn't have anywhere near the assists that Russell Westbrook did. He was a 2-time or 3-time scoring champion. Sure, Russell Westbrook was a 3-time assist leader. This guy could obviously make some steals. Russell Westbrook did that as well. I just think it's bizarre to me that we continue to penalize a guy that is just well-rounded. We continue to make excuses of why he's so well-rounded. It's not really truly fair, and I think I've always held on to this, and as you guys know, if you follow the channel, I've always backed Russell Westbrook, but watching the hate that he got for being on a top 75 all-time NBA list was absolutely ridiculous to me. Really woke me up, and I had to make a video about it. And from this point forward, since people were asking me, I will be making more NBA videos. I will be covering the Lakers a little bit more. They are my favorite team, the team I follow the most. So I will be doing that, and the next video will definitely reflect that. But I do hope you guys enjoyed. If you agreed with me, cool. Please be sure to drop a comment. Let me know why you agreed. If you feel like I changed your mind, awesome. Let me know if I changed your mind in the comment section. And if you still disagree with me, let's have a little bit of a friendly banter in the comment section below. But that's going to do it for me. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'm out of here. Later, guys.